Hey Flosstube, it's Katie the Stash Queen coming to you on Monday, December the 14th. I know, I didn't do a video yesterday. I woke up feeling not so great, sun reflecting from the window. I had a lot to do yesterday. It was a very, very busy day. And by the time I actually was able to sit down and do a video at the end of the day, I kind of just wanted to stitch. And my video would have been very much a blah video because I was just not in the best of moods. So I decided to wait until today. Sorry, forgive me, please. But you're gonna get a full normal weekly video today. Hopefully the sun isn't gonna cause too much issue. That's what happens when I'm recording at 8:26 in the morning. But you know, kids are at school, last week of school before the winter break. They're excited, they're ready to be out of school. I'm kind of ready for them to be out of school in that it means I can sleep in a little bit more in the morning, and that's a good thing. But it's a very busy, crazy time of year. So makes me kind of glad I've made some modifications to my rotation until the new year. So anyway, wanted to go ahead and get started with my weekly video. We'll start first with the Q&As. And a couple of things at the start of the Q&As, it's a little bit different. I first wanted to thank everyone for the compliments that they gave me in regards to my crazy little ginger boy. He is a sweetheart. I love him dearly. My daughter is jealous that he's been in a video and she hasn't. So probably sometime, maybe next week's video, or this weekend's video rather, I will have her make a little bit of an appearance. She's not quite as silly as my little ginger boy, but you know, she likes watching me stitch, and she's just as important. So this light thing's gonna bug me. Can I rotate a little bit? Can you see my door? Let me scoot over. Sorry, it's just kind of bugging me, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to avoid it. Oh well. Sorry. So thank you everyone for all of your kind words about my crazy little ginger boy. The other thing I wanted to say, I've gotten like several messages over the last couple of days or weeks in regards to accessing or Stitch Maynia and about me personally on Facebook. I will put a link to the Stitch Maynia group in the description box below. Anyone who is interested in joining, feel free to click the link. I put every so often, I get new people who are watching my videos who haven't seen previous videos with the link, and I'm happy to add it as needed. So I'll put a link to Stitch Maynia in the description box below. Maybe I'll just make that a normal thing and put that in every week. Maybe. We'll see. As for me personally on Facebook, I don't talk about stitching on my personal Facebook very often. There's a lot of other things that I talk about on my personal Facebook. There's politics, which are going on a more local level for me personally right now beyond presidential. I've got my own views in the presidential election, but my father is in the middle of a re-election campaign, and that's very stressful, and I'm doing a lot with that. But I talk about that. I talk about the kids stuff. I don't talk about cross stitch very much. I don't have a lot of my stitchy friends on my personal Facebook page. The ones that I usually do are people either that I've met in real life or that I have exchanged personal info with, address, phone number, something along those lines. If you want to get in touch with me as far as stitchy related information is concerned, the best place to do it is Stitch Maynia. It's not anything against anybody else in regards to if I don't accept the friend request, I get them daily, and I don't accept the overwhelming majority of them. Not because I don't want to share things with you guys, but I keep my stitchy life pretty much focused almost entirely on Stitch Maynia. The only stitchy related things that I post on my personal Facebook page are my finishes, just because I have an album of them there, and the occasional picture on like a Doctor Who themed picture for one of my Doctor Who pieces for my other Whovian friends that I have on Facebook. But if you want to follow my stitchy progress, if that's what you're looking for, Stitch Maynia is the place to do it. So I hope that answers any of those questions in regards to accessing me or Stitch Maynia on Facebook. Susan Jabalt, I'm sorry, Susan, I know I butchered your last name. First off, asked if I could do a video sometime of just me stitching, a la what I've seen Crafty Curator and a few other people have done in the past. I would love to do something like that. The problem is I record this on my phone. I don't have a good setup for setting up my phone or any other recording device over my shoulder to watch me stitch. I don't stitch on a frame, I stitch on a hoop, so my hoop goes kind of everywhere as I'm moving things around and that sort of thing. I will have to do some research. I will see what I can do, but I make no promises. I was also asked by a couple of different people and reminded for my information for my rotation for 2016. I tried doing it as a separate document to share, and I was having wonky issues with it. So what I did is I just copied and pasted what I had written down and put it in my description below. So feel free to copy it from the description if you're interested in having it written down for the rotation. If you have any questions about it, let me know and I can happily explain or go into more detail. Then Susan also asked if I can indicate when I'm showing off my pieces how I'm stitching it, 2/2, 2/1, so on and so forth. I can try to remember that, but I will tell you that unless I usually point out when I am not doing something quote unquote normally. If I'm working on a 28 or a 32 count fabric, 99 times out of 100, I am doing it 2/2. If I'm not doing it 2/2, I will indicate. I usually say such, like if I'm doing the skin 1/1, or I've got a couple of pieces on 32 count that I'm doing 1/2. Usually when it's an outlier is when I indicate what it is. If it's a kit, it's just whatever goes called for in the kit. Ada, it's usually 2/1. But I will try to remember it, but the general rule of thumb is unless I say otherwise, it's generally 2/2. Novice Stitcher asked if I have worked with blended threads. And what I'm assuming that you're meaning by blended threads are when you take one piece of thread that's in one color and another piece of thread that's in another color and putting them together and using them. Sure, done it several times. Even the Christmas countdown piece that I showed you guys for my Winter Wonderland stitch along has blended threads for the yellows. It's actually two different colors in there. It's a yellow and an orangey yellow. Easiest thing to do is just to cut equal lengths of both colors. You cannot use the loop method really because you're using 2 strands of floss. And then for blended threads, if you're just using 2 solid colors of threads, you can work all the way down a row and then come back and cross the crosses. That's not, you don't have to do each individual X like you do if you're using variegated flosses. It's just that's really all. The hardest part is figuring out when you're making sure the lengths are the same length, and then when you're looking in the patterns instructions, making sure you get the right colors that you're wanting to use. But other than that, that's really all that blended threads are. Some pieces have a lot more blended threads than others. Stitching with them is the same as if you stitch with a solid color. It's just making sure you have 2 different color threads in there. Chris Klassen asks about chatelaines. How do the pages go together? Where to start? Now, chatelaines, I pulled out my Tuscany Town mandala to use this. Let me preface this. You can buy chatelaines in PDF format from the chatelaine website. I have never done that. I did not realize that chatelaines could be done via PDF until after I had collected several hard copies. So what I am about to say are for people who have hard copies, like something like this that you got from 123 Stitch or your LNS or something like that, not the ones that you get from the PDFs. I can't speak to how to do things with the PDFs. So if you only use PDFs, feel free to ignore these next questions. Chatelaines are one of the few patterns that before I start them, I sit down to really look at everything because they come with pages of instructions. And that is what you need to look at before you even remotely start stitching on a chatelaine. This one for Tuscany Town Mandala, the question was if you start in the center or if you start somewhere else. You start in the center and you work your way out. And that even says, that's even in the instructions right here in the very beginning of the Tuscany Town Mandala one, where it says, look at your very center of fabric and then start embroidering from there with the center stitches of the pattern. Then you can decide how to go on, whether to proceed to one of the borders or to stitch from the inner pattern to the outer. Follow your personal stitching preference. But you start in the middle. It's the easiest place to start to ensure that you have the right location and to build out from the mandala. Then there are also instructions on where you do all of your specialty stitches and how you do what you need to do based on the instructions that you have on the pattern. There are pages of this is what the specialty stitches look like. I follow the directions is what I do. I look through here and it talks about using the cross stitches. It does say to do all the cross stitching first, then go back and do the back stitching and beading. I do the back stitching for chatelaines as I go along. It makes it a lot easier than going back after you've done all of these massive crosses for this massive piece. I do the beading last though, or I will be doing the beading last because I don't want to crush any of my beads with my hoop or anything like that. But if you read the directions, it kind of gives you an idea of which direction to go in. But you start in the middle, you work your way out. Now, how the pages go together, I'm going to show you this without showing you the actual pattern for this one. If you look at the bottom corner, this is the very first page of my Tuscany Town Mandala. And it shows you where this page is indicating that this is the top left corner of the piece is what this page of pattern shows. And then the next page shows that it is the part below that. So you follow what the directions are here. To determine where the exact center of the pattern is, you'll need to kind of look at where those things are positioned. Look at your pattern, figure out what is the center of it. So the center motif for this one, for example, is this little cross. And I don't want to show too much of the pattern. I'm going to have to show a little bit of the pattern. I apologize, Martina, if you ever see this. But this is page 6 of 16 for Tuscany Town. And you can see that this looks like it's one of the middle pieces. So when I look at the pattern, I can kind of tell based on the pattern, okay, I'm looking for this cross that's in the center of this pattern for the center motif. Look down here. This is all I'm going to try to show. Oh, look, here's the beginning of that cross down here. So this is the center area, and I kind of work my way out. Does that make sense? I hope so. But it took me a while when I was getting ready to do Medieval Town Mandala to sit down and figure out how I was going to do it. You need to sit down and take the time to look at the pattern and read the directions and figure out kind of where everything goes. Once you get started, it's not too tough to figure out how to keep going. And if you really look at the instructions and compare it to your pattern, it makes it a whole lot easier to say, okay, I've done this step, I've done this step, I've done this step. And the steps kind of show you how to go out from the pattern. Does that make sense? Or is that a bunch of gobbledygook? It could very easily have been a bunch of gobbledygook. But I hope that helps. And again, PDFs are way different. From my understanding, they come in parts and make it a lot easier to follow how to do the pattern, but I prefer I do a lot of things via PDF chart. You all know this, but I prefer for the chatelaines to have it printed out. It just makes it easier to, there's a lot of detail in those things. The perk about PDFs is you can zoom in. And I think that the back stitching is colored on the PDFs. I could be wrong, but I think it is. But I've not had issues when I was working with Medieval Town. It just takes a few minutes. Sit down, look at the pattern. Don't feel bad if after you put those first few stitches in, you're looking back to the instructions, back to the pattern to make sure you're doing it the right way. Once you get started, you'll get into a groove, but you got to take the time to look at the pattern. I had a bunch of people ask, either in comments or in messages, or not, how I spell my name. It's K-A-T-Y. I don't mind if you use I-E. I respond to it. Please don't add an H. I have a lot of people who see K-A-T-Y and add an H to make it Kathy, and that kind of bugs me. K-A-T-I-E doesn't bug me as much. Laura Ellis asked, where did I get my needle minder board that I showed when I had Crazy Ginger Boy in here? It is the Spontan from IKEA. S-P-O-N-T-A-N. I got it in the, I don't even remember what section of the store I got it in, quite honestly. I saw it in several different places in the store. But it's a magnetic board. S-P-O-N-T-A-N from IKEA. That's where I got it. And I have 2 of them. Emily Chadwick asked if I was, the Garrett's piece is, she's also doing the, she is doing the model stitch in all DMC. Mine was with DMC plus alterations. There are 3 parts of Garrett's design. And she asked if I was doing any of the other 2 parts of the design, and I will leave that answer to when I am working on my whips and showing you my whips. Tammy Neal asked if I use the Continental tent stitch and does it replace the full crosses, and aren't they kind of similar to half stitch? They are similar to half stitch, but the difference with Continental tent stitch is the way you pull them across the back to prevent your fabric from getting bunched up and put together. I only do it on one piece, and that is my Flames of Desire Heaven and Earth design. The 10 stitch does take the place of the full cross. So if you're looking at it and it's supposed to be a cross for this one, you just use the Continental tent stitch. Carolyn Mazzio has a great video tutorial about the Continental tent stitch. I will put a link to that at the bottom as well. Stephanie Watson asked, what is in the corner of the witch's block for Garrett's design? It's just a little streamer thing. It's cute, little detail. I'll show it when I show my whips again. Nerdy Canadian asked 3 different questions. Do I do black work? Yes or no? Yep. I've got Box of Delights already from Liz Almond in my rotation. I have plans for more black work pieces for the year of starts. So yes. Ink Circles 99, yes or no? I like seeing the piece. It's not one I will ever do. And that's simply because we are not beer drinkers in this house. I drink my wine or other spirits. My husband will drink beer occasionally, but not often. We're just not a heavy beer household. I think the piece is awesome. It's just not one I would ever do. Unless my brother expressed interest in it, because he's really the only beer drinker in the family, and I might do it for him if he really expressed interest, but I don't think he watches these. I don't think he will. So that's my take on Ink Circles 99. And then my favorite needle type, brand, size. I made this admission on the Stitch Maynia board yesterday. I use the needles that come for free. I have bought needles once in my life, and that was one of those sets from Walmart that were a circle with all different size types of embroidery needles on it. Couldn't tell you the brand, couldn't tell you the size. Some were different lengths. It was not just for needlepoint, it was also for sewing. I have, you know, all the needles you get from kits, that's what I use. And I think I scandalized Liz from Dragonfly Lotus with that fact. But I've never bought needles, like from the Needle Workshop. I prefer ones with bigger holes or bigger eyes. I prefer them about that length, whatever that length is. And I prefer them thin instead of thick. I couldn't tell you what size it is, but I have 2 or 3 needles that I have with all my other needles that are the ones that I use most frequently. My needles don't break. My needles don't rust. So why? You all see I buy a lot of stash. If I don't need to buy needles, why buy needles? I've got plenty. That's one thing I don't collect a whole lot of. Sorry. So those were my Q&As for the week. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below or send me a message and I'll be happy to answer them next week. Before I get to my whips for this week, I have a few FFOs to show. The first two, and I should have written down what they were, but I didn't. I had shown you guys last week the Christmas stockings and all that, and thank you again, everyone, so much for the compliments on... Excuse me. Thank you for the compliments on the stockings. I love them. They're my favorites. But we finished decorating the Christmas tree this week. Took forever because I have a really big Christmas tree and a whole lot of ornaments. And I'm not going to show you the back of these because this is before I realized, oh, hey, I could put pretty finishing fabric on these. But I have the two ornaments that I have stitched up that I wanted to show. This first one is it's a Christmas train from Dimensions, which is a cute little kit. My husband and I buy train ornaments for my son every year. So this is his ornament that I made for him last year. It's just a cute little Dimensions kit, and put some of the leftover floss together, twisted it up, and attached it to the back to have it hang. So that's that one. And then the other one that I made last year was for my daughter, who we do snowflake Christmas ornaments for. And this was a Mill Hill kit that she picked out. It's got the little snowflake in the middle. And then I beaded up, used leftover beads and floss to make the hanger. Isn't that cute? So those are the last two of my FFOs for my Christmas stuff. I did frame up my husband's Christmas piece. I ironed it, and by the time I finally got it all frustrating. This is why I think I'm just going to use professional framers from now on. But here is Screw Calm and Go Running for my husband for Christmas. Yay! I believe the letters from Nora T will be ready this week, so I should hopefully, if it's ready this week, I will show it in my video next week. If not, we'll wait till it's in. And then I'm still working on the Doctor Who clock. I may actually have stitchy things for all three of them this year. We will see. So those are the FFOs. Whips, of course, we all know that I've kind of put my normal rotation on hold for the remainder of 2015. So I really only have, I don't have my whips for the week or my week in review, my upcoming whips for the week. It's all kind of the same thing right now. I do have a finish and a new start. This is in relation to the question about Garrett's pieces before. Here is, without further ado, the Snow White Sampler by Garrett Coffee Stitcher. Isn't that pretty? Here's the last block of the prints. This is the little streamer I was talking about before, just a little decoration. But this was done on 32 count Lugana in sand from Picture This Plus, using generally 2/2, except for the Krynic and the Dragonfly Lotus that was in it. So this is DMC Krynic and Dragonfly Lotus. And the Krynic, it has number 4 braid plus Silk Serica and Silk Bella. So yay! I really enjoyed working on this piece. When Garrett Coffee Stitcher has it up and available for sale, go buy it. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed working on it. So that was my finish for this week. The new start that I have is not much right now. Same piece of fabric. It's lines at the moment. As Emily had asked and indicated in her comments, there are 2 more parts to Garrett's design. It's the sampler. There's also a needle fob and a needle book, or not needle fob, but a scissor fob and a needle book. And I have started working. He asked me to work on the needle book, so and just to do it in all the DMCs without substituting anything out. So so I'm working on that. I started that the other day. Sorry, something showed up on my camera. So I'm working on this. It's not going to take nearly as long as the sampler, but that's what I'm working on now. So, yay! It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying doing this for Garrett. I've really, really had fun with it. And I sent him my notes, and he knows what flosses I used where, and he'll get all those details out and ready to go when he's ready to put it on the market. Then I have my Doctor Who clock by Cloudsfactory that is on 32 Opalugana, a jewel from Under the Sea Fabrics using Maynia SAL's silk, and this is all done 2/2, and here's where I am at this point. We're starting on number 10, who is my favorite doctor. See, 10 is my favorite doctor, 11 has my favorite stories, and I have a couple of different ties for favorite companion. But isn't that awesome? 30 minutes a day, it adds up. So I really hope I might be able to get I should be able to finish 10 today, I'm hoping. And then I'll just have 11 and 12. And then I can put it together as a clock. And I'll have it for my son for Christmas. Keep your fingers crossed. And then the last piece that I have to show today that I'm still working on, is the Walking Through the Stars Zodiac Sampler by Cloudsfactory. I made good progress though. Okay. Here is the whole piece as it stands right now. Can you see all that? Is that showing up okay? Kind of, sort of. So I have all of the circles are done. Yay! I'm now working on the corners. This corner is finished. I'll do a little bit closer so you can see. That corner's finished. And see, here's the circles and all that. So then I started on the second corner up here. So it's just the 3 corners left that I have to complete, and then this will be done. This is on 32 count Belfast in Black Magic from Under the Sea Fabrics using flosses and silks from Maynia SAL. Yay! Hopefully I'll get this done this week. If not, it'll go one more week. That's okay. So that's really all I have to show. I didn't work on Exploding TARDIS on Saturday. I didn't get started stitching until late, and I just wasn't feeling it, so I didn't work on it on Saturday. When I finish these pieces, because I was thinking about that this week, that all 3 of these should be finished by the end of this month. And if I finish, if not before the end of this month, and if I finish it all before the end of this month, what am I going to do? I think I'm just going to decide when that moment comes what I'm feel liking. Do I feel like picking up a piece and trying to push out another finish, or at least get progress on it? I'm still working on my rotation for the Winter Wonderland stitch alongs, which of course I'll do a video tomorrow to show the end of week 2 and the start of week 3. Will I just work on Exploding I don't know. We'll just... Life has been so busy that I haven't been able to do a lot of stitching until late. So having my rotation be a little bit minimalistic for the rest of this month is actually working out really well. It's just holidays and craziness and all that sort of thing. And health flare-ups and all that lovely stuff. So we'll see what happens when I get to that point. Only thing I have left to talk about today is my stash acquisitions. So if you are sticking around for stash, get comfy. And if you're not, I will see you guys next time. Okay, so stash. Let's see, what do I want to start with? Got lots of things that have come in. I'll start with Nifty Needle Nannies. I placed an order with her the weekend of after Thanksgiving when she had her sale. So those came in this week. Here's the first card. I got a Batman, a heart, 2 little crowns, another heart, and this cute little cameo. I didn't realize the cameo was as little as it is, but I love it. So sweet. And then I got some more of the Petite Princesses. I got the Tinkerbell, the Ariel, and the Jasmine. And then Cinderella, Snow White, and one of the brightly colored rainbow lollipops. Need more needle minders to get to 1 million, like the Ginger Boy said. So speaking of needle minders. I got this one from Kimmy Kell Crafts. She's the one that made the lovely TARDIS necklace that I don't have on today, but she had an exploding TARDIS needle minder. I needed the exploding TARDIS needle minder. It may take the place of the 11th Doctor on my exploding TARDIS piece, because hello. And then I got, I ordered the Pattern of the Month, the new Pattern of the Month series from Stony Creek. It's a butterfly kisses theme for the next 3 months. So this is December's. Live Every Moment with a black swallowtail. Yeah, black swallowtail. And this is what the series is going to look like. It's got the live every moment, love every day, or laugh every day, love beyond words. So the pattern itself is free. Yes, you have to pay for shipping, but you know, I think it's worth it. So I got that in. Then I got my monthly thread order from Joddery. This is November's thread order, and Michelle had some personal issues during the month of November, so she was a little delayed in getting these out. So she also sent me a freebie, sent everyone a freebie for being understanding during November while she was dealing with her other stuff. So show you the threads of the month for this month first. I have, this one is Disco Lights. And then we've got, come on, they're all tangling up. It's my fault, not hers, because I kind of dumped these the way I shouldn't have dumped them, but oh well. This one is Arabian Nights. Oops. Pretty. This is Seawall, which, having been to Galveston not too long ago, this very much reminds me of the seawall. Here is Firefly. Pretty bright greens and reds and yellows. This one is Coral Seas. It's very pretty pastel-y colors. This one is Vine Leaves. Definitely looks like grapevine leaves. The green, the gray green. Then this one is Flamingo Flock. Yellows and pinks, or whites and pinks rather. I really can talk today. It's Monday, it's early. Poisoned Apple. This one is Tulip Gardens. And then this one is Tropical Bay. It's very pretty. Then the limited edition one for November was called Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. And I got 3 of those. And then the little freebie she sent was actually from the January 2015 limited edition. This is Winter Sunset, which I wasn't a member in January 2015, so yay! Yay, Floss! So everything that is not a duplicate, which really is just everything but 2 of the Dia de los Muertos, will go into my Box of Delights whip, because I'm filling in all of the Box of Delights. I haven't decided yet which Joddery threads I'm using for filling in the Box of Delights, but that's where they'll go. And then the last thing I have this month, or this week, is Stitchy Box! If you've already seen Garrett's video, you've already seen a lot of the goodies for Stitchy Box, but I'm gonna show it off anyway. Here is the fabric that came with my Stitchy Box. This is a 28 count even weave in French lilac from Picture This Plus. It is gorgeous. I love this purple. It is so, so pretty. I am definitely going to find a use for this with my year of starts. No question about that. Then, actually, I probably should show you this first. This is the first time Stitchy Box has ventured into having patterns as part of the Stitchy Box, and you could choose to order the pattern or not. But everything in the Stitchy Box this month is goes with this pattern. And here's the pattern. It is called Winter Queen's Jewel. When I saw the name, duh, Queen, hello. And it's by Ink Circles. It's a design exclusively for Stitchy Box. And so that fabric works with it. it also came with a cute little finishing fabric, snowflakes. And I have this cute little snowflake charm also, which is sweet. And then the threads, there was the, this one is Sullivan's Metallic Floss in gray, which is like a silver. Then there is the Sullivan's regular embroidery floss in, it looks like color 45483, which it says compared to DMC 168. So another pretty gray. Then 1 yard of a limited edition Gloriana stranded silk. It's pretty purple. Then this is silk All Vert Soie, not Soie, by Valdani. It's a pearl silk. It's a really pretty blue. And then this is the one I'm most excited about. Gentle Arts made a limited edition colorway for the Winter Queen, and it is the Winter Queen colors. I ordered several more skeins of this from Stitchy Box's website because look, it's so pretty. Then, and that's not all, it came with the beads. It's a different brand than, it's not Mill Hill, it's not Delica, I forget which brand it is, but pretty blue and white beads. And then a needle minder from Dragonfly Lotus. Very awesome. Awesome Stitchy Box. Favorite so far of all of the Stitchy Boxes. I just love how Liz is making more and adding more to it every single time. She's doing a fantastic job. I love it all. So yeah, a little bit of a shorter video than normal because of my rotation and all that. So plans. I will be making a video tomorrow for my Winter Wonderland update, finishing off with Christmas Elegance and showing what I'm going to be working on for week 3. I did the video for the Year of Starts January preview. It's the video before this one, so if you haven't checked it out, feel free to go look at my insanity. This week's got a lot of preparing for Christmas and preparing for the next order. I'm still working on figuring out everything for my orders. I had some organization I had to do before I could really delve in and find out what I actually need to order. And so, you know, working on all that. I've still got in the works. I'm working on the updated digital videos. We'll see when those come along. I'm slowly working on that. So other than that, that's all I got for you this week. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.